When I made up the list of lectures for Philosophical Research Society, I said to myself, well, what would I like to talk about? Now, that's not the right way to approach a subject. It should be, what should the audience prefer, be interested in? But I decided, no, I haven't really had too many opportunities to talk about the subjects that I have chosen. Therefore, I thought it would be an excellent way for me to reflect on the things that most interest me. And therefore, among all the topics, this is the, as it were, the highest, the most profound. And certainly the not only most profound, but the highest concept in philosophy. Religion, life of the spirit. Essentially, what these two words mean, which of course we went through last time we talked, they're identical. Good, same as the one. The good is that which all things desire. Any desire is for something that is regarded as good. The ultimate expression of that highest desire is the good. Big use of the word the. Everything in this room that you distinguish it as one. We went through a kind of dialectic last time to show that the ideas that you use to identify the one can be exchanged for the other, and therefore there's an equivalence between the two. Now, this week we thought it would be worthwhile to talk about that very interesting philosopher, Plotinus. Now, we're in the 3rd century A.D. Plotinus lived in Rome. Only after he was 40 years of age, he traveled to Rome. He was an Egyptian. The portraits of him, the sculpting of him, clearly show facial features of an Ethiopian Egyptian. I have an excellent book, translation, which, by the way, never mentions his origins, but just picks up the fact that he moved to Rome when he was 40 and says nothing at all about his birthplace or his origin or his racial origin either. So that's unfortunate, but we can make up for it. He's part of that strange tradition which the work Black Athena covers about the African roots, the Afro-Egyptian roots of the classic Hellenic culture. Now, what is it that Plotinus did? First, let me give you the architecture, which at this point you're familiar with. The highest expression is the one or the good. The realm of intelligence. Soul and body. That's basically the metaphysics, the model. Right? The one, good. Intelligence, sometimes called being. Intelligence, being, vitality. Hyphenated. Soul, world soul. Soul and body. Now, what does this really mean? Let's take it this way. Here, of course, we have a figure already drawn on the board, but I'll draw my own. All right? And what this really is showing is that what we experience in the realm of experience, we can identify with what is seen through the senses. And this is much of our life. And then from identifying with the objects of the senses, we also reflect on them, and we reflect on that, and then we have a set of ideas that we use to talk about the impressions we gain from the external world. So what does that mean? You see, this is really nothing other than what affects us. See, what affects us. The word impression is a good word. It's what impresses us. But what is it that is impressed? All right? What is it that receives the impressions? What is it? All right? What's the it? Now, we can talk about the next level. We can talk about the level of soul. Now, for the idea of soul, all we need is 4 ideas. If you planned to come here, which you must have done, right? You must have had a plan. You must have willed yourself to use it or commanded yourself to do it. And you did it because in some way you thought you would benefit. Now, what is it that does this? What is it that wills, that commands, that plans, that seeks a benefit? What is it? Now, one more thing we need to this idea of soul, and that is, whatever it is, it brings with it life. and it unifies. It unifies the sense experience. It unifies a set of ideas into intelligible statements. It presents us with the results of it. Therefore, it does these 4 things, and it brings with it life, and it unifies its experiences. But what is it? Well, we can talk a good deal about the soul now, since we mean by it these 4 things that brings along with it the power of life, and it's unifying, and it unifies our experiences, or what experiences. But what is it is elusive. What is it? Right? So you see, if it wills, what is it that wills? If it commands, what is it that commands? What is it that does?